What's going on, man?
No, just living the dream here in Florida, staying with my parents. So not too bad. How are you doing?
Good. My parents are there too. They're in West Palm Beach, man, loving life, and they're coming back in about a month and a half. But they say, hey, you got to come enjoy sometime. Apparently, it's just phenomenal out there lately.
It's a place to be, especially after being in Vancouver all winter long and the lockdowns and everything. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to be here. Basically just been sleeping on the beach. That's it. And golfing, of course.
Derek Kesseler, man, you may recognize this dude from Big Brother Canada Season 6. It's been a while since you and I spoke last. Can you catch me up real quick in the last, I guess, 4 years?
Yeah. Wow. You're aging me here. 4 years. It seems like such a long time ago. We're on season 10 now of Big Brother. So yeah, I did the whole thing, made it all the way to the end, didn't win the 100,000. So I guess I basically had to go right back to work, and I was still serving at Rodney's and doing my thing. And then I just got more into the photography and social media game and started doing social media management, and then just living my Vancouver life and hiking and doing all kinds of stuff like that. So yeah, living downtown there.
They're fans of yours. The last they maybe heard or saw was, okay, there was Derek and Kayla, Dela. So what happened with that? Can you address that real quick?
We'll just say that distance was a factor.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, it's kind of tough when I live on the West Coast and she's the far east as far as you can go. And we had some fun after the show, and she came out to Vancouver, and then basically she kind of stayed out there, and none of us were willing to move or do anything like that. So that's all she wrote.
You got a brand new opportunity, which is an incredible opportunity in front of an international audience. The show is called The Courtship. Before we get into what the show is about, how did you get involved in this show? I mean, here we are.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I can't speak too much on how the casting process and everything worked, but I was reached out to, and this opportunity came about, and I said, absolutely. I'm having trouble on the dating apps these days. I basically deleted them all. I'm doing my own thing. I'm having a single summer and turning 31 now. I was back in my late 20s when Big Brother was happening. So now I'm like, okay, I'm 30, 31, ready to settle down. And this just came upon, and I was like, yeah, I needed to give it a shot.
It's called The Courtship. It's on NBC. What an incredible concept, man. From the trailer, what I can see is it's like part Bachelor, Bachelorette, and part Bridgerton, because it's you guys are in an old school type setting, the clothing, whatnot, and what it looks like, the stuff you guys will be doing. It's such a brilliant idea to, because I mean, a lot of people are watching Bridgerton, and a lot of people like these dating shows, so why not put it together and see what the heck happens? So how excited were you / are you to be a part of this, man?
Yeah, I think the recipe is perfect. I actually watched the Bridgerton, and I was a big fan, and obviously with the fan base of the Bachelorette and reality TV and everything that goes into that. When they reached out to me, I thought it was just the perfect timing for me when I was single, and you're going to live in this fantasy world, and you're going to do archery and horseback riding, and you're going to court this girl, and it's going to be in the countryside, and there's going to be boat rides and all kinds of stuff like that. At first, I didn't really believe it. I was like, so what is this? It's just like, another reality TV show, or what's the real deal here? Am I actually coming to fall in love? And that is what it is. So yeah, I was very excited when everything kind of came through. And of course, with all the restrictions and the difficulties we had to be able to get out there and make it happen, traveling from Canada all the way to UK, and just everything that fell into place for me to get out there, it worked out perfectly. So I was super excited, and I am super excited to see everything now come to fruition on TV here.
What an incredible experience, man, just to be able to step a foot into this world for a moment in time and be like, well, let's see what happens. Why not? Dating as hard as it is, man, swiping this and that and Tinder and whatnot, this could be the new thing. And with the dating shows, it's so interesting how, I mean, I've seen the trailer multiple times going, I'm so excited to see how this thing is going to progress. So instead of being called a typical bachelor or bachelorette like you would on the show, you're called a suitor.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're a suitor, we're calling each other by our last names. We're making sure that we stand up when a lady walks in the room. It's very, very old school, I should say, in the Regency era. So it was cool to kind of go back to that. And even for me, as I was preparing to go on the show, I'm thinking in my mind, I'm like, okay, I need to figure out my manners and how to properly, enunciate and do all my kind of live this life, because yeah, you're still living in the 21st century in this, but you kind of, it kind of really takes over you when you get there, right? All of a sudden in your mind, you're in this world, and you're like, hey, I'm almost this little bit of a different person living in this different world. Like, am I acting properly? Am I doing the right thing? I stand up with my shoulders back. Like, what do I do? So it's just kind of making sure all those things running through your mind. You're like, okay, I'm trying to meet this girl and fall in love, but also like, am I doing the right things here?
Now, in watching the trailer, I'm like, wait a second. Usually on shows like this and in real life, if you meet somebody, you don't meet the parents like pretty quick, but it looks like you're going to meet the parents pretty quick.
Yeah, that's basically one of the earliest steps in there. You go in and they introduce the court, and Nicole comes in, and basically I'm like, okay, so am I meeting Nicole first or her dad? Like, this is a pretty big situation here. It's a lot easier nowadays when you're kind of, there is the troubles with Tinder and swiping and everything, but a lot of it is like you're going to meet up for a coffee shop or go meet for a drink, and you're just going to find out if you like this girl and you're going to continue on with that relationship. This, it's like, no, you're meeting the family right away. So you got to be on your best, like, all right, I'm shaking her dad's hand and then I'm going to meet her. And then, so right away, like, what's her dad? What's her mom going to think of me, her friend or sister, before I even meet her? So it's kind of like, yeah, it's difficult.
It's interesting because all we can see so far, and tell me what you can, and obviously, you can't say certain things, but you're watching this going, this is set in like the olden times and whatever. I mean, are you guys staying in a castle? Like, are you allowed to say anything? Like, what's the deal? Like, accommodation wise, of like, where is this? Set me the scene if you can with what you're allowed to tell me, because we're interested, man.
Yeah, we're staying in the castle there. It's on the English countryside, and I mean, besides that, there's not a lot of details I can share. I'm sure from seeing the castle and everything, we know that it is Castle Howard. So it is a famous English castle. It's been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. So even in that too, like being in the castle, I'm just like, I don't want to touch the wrong thing or knock something over, and trying to make sure that I don't have to pay for anything before I leave as well. And there's quite a few rules when you're in a place that's that historic, because although we're trying to create this TV show, I'm making sure that I don't want to, damage anything.
Biggest difference between Big Brother Canada and this show, again, from what you can tell me. It starts airing on March the 6th. So, I mean, biggest difference for you being on that show and being on this show. What can you tell me?
You know what? Honestly, the biggest difference is you're really trying to fall in love on the show, and you're really trying to go there and be your authentic self and show up and be vulnerable and let your emotions out and just try and fall in love. Whereas in Big Brother, you're trying to hide a lot of stuff. You're trying to show these little pieces of you, and maybe it's to get into an alliance or to win a competition. I know in the Big Brother house, I'm like, okay, I don't want people to know like I'm a comp beast or I'm any of these things right away. I want to kind of slowly get into that power position. Whereas you're coming here to fall in love and meet a girl, you want to show up, as your powerful, authentic self right away and kind of make a statement. Whereas in Big Brother, that might not be the best way to start the show. So the biggest difference is you kind of go from strategizing, thinking of how you can get to the end of the show to like, okay, I'm here to fall in love. So it's just almost two beasts, really. Two different beasts.
And I'm guessing in the middle of falling in love, you're going to, if it's medievally times type stuff or whatever, you're going to be doing like, I don't know, horse riding, jousting, whatever kind of crazy things come up. So how do you prepare to get on a show like this? How do you prepare?
I watched Bridgerton before I went again. I'd seen the seasons before, and then I just, I rewatched Bridgerton and kind of got into that. And again, too, it's like, yeah, the dancing and the grand balls and the horseback riding and the boat rides and all these things. And I guess at the end of the day, too, I just tried not to overthink things. I think the concept of the show, too, is just bringing it back to the basics. So in my mind, I'm like, I don't have to try to do anything too crazy to impress anyone or do anything. It's just like live in the moment and be present in everything that's going on and just enjoy being in this setting and try and take it day by day. So yeah, it was cool. And, and you're writing letters, and it's nice to actually have time to think. I noticed, sometimes in dating, you got a day and you can send a text message back and you got time to think. And even that, I'm like, when you're writing a letter, everything that you write in there, it need to be specific. You need to really show who you are and what you're all about, because you send this letter once and then it's gone. You can't just send another text right after. So you send this letter and it's like, okay, everything's in there. And was that everything I needed to say? So it's just, I think they're a lot more thoughtful when you're going through this process as opposed to nowadays.
So Nicole, is she known as what, like the maiden, or what are they calling her in this?
Yeah, so she would be the heroine, is what she's called in this. The heroine, and we're the suitors. Then her court would be her mom, her dad, her sister, and then her best friend.
So as far as Nicole goes, give me 3 amazing things about her, because we're going to learn about her as the show goes. But, tell me some things to look forward to in terms of her as a person on this show. Yeah,
in regards to Nicole, she's just energetic and she's funny. She's down to earth. She's really everything you're looking for in a girlfriend, in a wife. I mean, right away, doors open up and she's just full of life. And this is why I'm here. And this is what I'm looking for. So she knew exactly what she was looking for and exactly why she wanted it and what she's looking for in a guy. So basically, for me, I felt like we matched pretty well, because what I was looking for in a woman is what she was looking for in a guy as well, in a relationship. So yeah, she's very down to earth, very down to earth, very energetic, very fun loving and spirited and caring. So there's a lot of good things, and I'm sure you'll see that in all her interviews, and especially when she comes out on the show here.
Well, you got the girl on Big Brother Canada, so I mean, we're rooting for you, man. We'll see how you do on this show. The Courtship, it's on NBC. It starts on the 6th of this month. We're excited to see. It's such a creative idea, man, and I'm sure I'm not alone in saying we're interested to see how this progresses. It's not just a regular dating show. It's really cool to see how they flip things up, and we're excited to see how far you go in this, man. So rooting for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And thanks for having me on. I think it's going to be amazing. Everything looks really good so far. So I can't wait to see it myself.
Final question. Did you have to sometimes sleep on like haystacks like they did back in the day? Like
Nothing that crazy. No, they're not going to put us through that. We're already going through emotional turmoil. They're not going to make us sleep outside.
It wasn't like a have-not room, right?
Oh, no, thank God. That didn't even cross my mind. So I'm happy that kind of stuff didn't happen.
Derek Kesseler, the show is called The Courtship. Keep in touch, man. I'm curious to know what happens next in your life. This is a fantastic opportunity. So it was good to catch up again, man. And good luck. We will all be watching. So thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.